This isn't some political game. What you're seeing right now, it's the deployment of a psychological weapon. A weapon designed to do one thing: paralyze a superpower and grind the world to a dead stop.
All right, let's get right into it. The clock is ticking. Donald Trump drops a 48-hour ultimatum. And let's be clear, this isn't a negotiation. It's a raw, unfiltered threat, engineered to force a complete and immediate retreat, period.
But here's the thing. Iran doesn't back down. They don't even blink. Instead, they fire back with a threat that just rips up the entire rulebook, pushing this whole conflict way beyond anyone's control.
And this is where it gets really chilling. It's what they promised. See, this isn't just them being defiant. This is a vow of shared annihilation. It's a guarantee that if they go down in flames, they're dragging the entire region down with them.
And just like that, ignition. The pressure cooker just exploded. Benjamin Netanyahu, he's calling for a war cabinet. U.S. Marines are already on the move. You know, the board is set, and the fuse, it's just been lit.
So to really get what's going on here, you can't just watch the headlines. You have to understand the weapon being used. And that weapon, it's pure fear.
Look, Iran knows it can't win a conventional fight. Not against the United States or Israel. Tank for tank, jet for jet, that's a losing battle. So they play a different game, a much darker and frankly more effective one. They build this image of being completely, terrifyingly uncontrollable.
And that's the whole shift, right there. The battlefield isn't physical anymore. It's psychological. It's a game of endurance. See, in this kind of war, winning isn't about blowing up an army. It's about crushing the will to even fight. You win the second your enemy hesitates. That hesitation? That's it. Checkmate.
So, how do you actually do it? Well, it's a simple, brutal formula. First, you hit them with a selective, shocking action. Then, silence. Absolute silence. You don't explain it, you don't claim it. You let your enemy's own mind fill in the blanks with their absolute worst fears. Their imagination, that becomes your weapon. It paralyzes them.
But let's be crystal clear here. This isn't some newfangled strategy. This weapon has been used before, and last time, it brought the entire world to the very edge of total annihilation.
Think about the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in what they called a balance of terror, and it was perfect, in a horrifying way. The fear wasn't about losing. The fear was that starting a war, any war, meant the end of everything for everyone. No one could win.
Remember the Cuban Missile Crisis? For 13 days, the entire planet held its breath. Literally, every single move, every decision was weighed against one thing, setting off a chain reaction that nobody could stop. It wasn't clever diplomacy that saved us. It was raw, paralyzing fear.
And that's the key takeaway, isn't it? The fear of what happens next. What happens the second after that first missile launches. That fear is more powerful than any army in the world. I mean, it's exactly how a country like North Korea has managed to keep a superpower at bay for decades. But here's the terrifying part. A system built entirely on fear is, well, it's incredibly fragile. It's a house of cards. It's all about perception. And right now, right before our eyes, we're watching that house of cards start to tremble.
And the way it collapses follows a pattern. It's a terrifyingly predictable one. It doesn't start with bombs. It starts with signals. First, fear shuts down the global economy. Then the strikes start to hit more than just military targets. And then comes the final, most dangerous part. Leaders lose control. They stop directing events and start just reacting to a spiral they can no longer manage.
And you can see the board is getting bigger. This isn't just Iran and the US anymore. No way. Just look at the players moving into position. You've got Donald Trump with his ultimatum, Benjamin Netanyahu calling for war, Vladimir Putin siding with Iran, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is openly mocking US power, and now the Gulf nations are demanding a final resolution. Everyone is picking a side.
And then you get this message from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. You're fired. Now, that's not just a schoolyard insult. It's pure psychological warfare. It's a signal designed to project total, unshakable confidence. It's meant to make their opponent doubt everything. So now you've got every single player blasting out these signals of strength, of resolve. And with every hour that passes, the risk of someone making a fatal mistake, it just skyrockets.
One signal gets misread, one line gets crossed by accident, and this whole fragile system just shatters into a million pieces.
Which brings us right here, to this moment, right now, where the very fear that kept the peace for so long is about to become the very fuel that starts an uncontrollable fire. It leaves you wondering, right? At what point does the strategy to prevent a war actually become the thing that causes it?